Hey everybody, welcome back to Horror Trans. My name is Stephanie Bree. Fair warning, I am fighting a cold. I am drugged up on Sudafed right now, and I have blown my nose so much. I've gone through 3 boxes of tissues in 48 hours. So if I lose my voice, or I sniffle throughout this video, or cough, please forgive me. I'm doing the best I can, but I gotta get videos out, because, I gotta. It's for y'all, but also it's for me too. So today we're talking about Saw 3. Now, the first 2 Saw movies are hit or miss for me. I can't remember if I gave Saw 1 a rent or a buy. I can't remember. I go back and forth on Saw 1. I've only seen it twice. The first time I watched it, I was like, why did this get sequels? The second time I watched it, after seeing some of those sequels, I was like, alright, I see what you're doing. You're laying the groundwork for something better. And I just did Saw 2 not that long ago. Like a week or 2 ago. So I decided now's a good time to tackle Saw 3. Now, I'm going to go ahead and be honest with you. Saw 3 is the one of the franchise I've seen the most. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean it's my favorite, although it might. It's just the one I've seen the most, but there's a reason for that. When I was younger, I hung out with a group of friends who were horror fanatics, and we watched horror movies all the time. And 2 of my, we'll say 7 or so friends in that group were humongous Saw fans. Everybody else was just like, okay, they're just horror movies. I was one of those, yeah, they're just horror movies. They're not great, they're not bad, they're just like, okay, sure, I'll sit through one of these, whatever. However, my friend group was obsessed with Saw 3 for some reason. So it's the one we watched the most. And since then, I've gone back and rewatched it a couple of times myself. So that's your backstory. Because it's going to sound like I like this movie more than I actually do, because I've seen it the most out of all of them, but that's not necessarily going to prove it's my favorite. It's just happenstance. So I wanted to give you the backstory so you don't call bullshit on me in the comments, like some people do, because sometimes I get confused and leave out details, and then I have to go back and be like, oh yeah, I forgot to mention this thing, to give you the, context. So I'm trying to give you the context up front so you don't, fucking bitch at me in the comments. This is the turning point of the Saw franchise. This is where they basically say, okay, nobody gives a fuck about the story or the characters anymore. We just want kills. So this movie does kind of, sort of, loosely harken back to the first 2 Saw films and sort of continue that story. But it also retcons the shit out of those 2 movies. Again, with, I'm going to say, unnecessary flashbacks. This movie has excessive unnecessary flashbacks, which is my biggest complaint with the Saw franchise. Too many goddamn flashbacks. Just tell a fucking story, goddammit. I don't need 300 flashbacks in a 90-minute movie, goddammit. That is what pisses me off about these movies. Just give me the A to B to C. I don't need A to Z to C to L to M to B, and then back all the way to A again. Fuck you, goddammit. Tell a linear story, Jesus fucking Christ. Tell a goddamn linear fucking story, Jesus Christ. Are the kills good? Yes. This is probably got the best kills in the franchise up to this point out of the first 3. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, this has the most satisfying ending of a Saw film, because it ties everything up in a neat little bow, and they could have stopped right here and I would have been happy. I would have been like, alright, the Saw trilogy. A good trilogy of horror films. Leave it alone. Let it go. But no. Whoever fucking owns the rights to this shit got greedy and kept fucking making them. So I gotta keep fucking talking about them. Now, I have not seen all of them, so I can't tell you, where the franchise goes from here until I get there. But let's talk about this movie. Once again, you have a guy who's in a trap, and you got a couple of side quest characters that pop in, die, and then you're like, all right, what the fuck was that? I don't know. Whatever, move on. Obviously, it's all setting something up. And again, like Saw 2, this one has a lot of meaner kills that the traps are designed to not be winnable in such a way that it is like, all right, option A, eat a bullet and blow your brains out of the back of your skull. Option B, do nothing and watch this guy get mutilated in front of you. Those aren't good options. Neither option is like, yeah, I can either watch this guy die a horrific death, or I can sacrifice my life to save his, and why the fuck would I do that? Especially when I know who he is and what he did. Now you have a subplot in this movie where we've established in the first two Saw films, Jigsaw is dying of cancer of some sort. And so we do get, spoilers, I'm going to go ahead and spoil this. We do get a impromptu underground surgery scene. So that's a bit graphic. Where they try to save Jigsaw's life. Now, of the three of the trilogy, if this would have just been a trilogy, I would argue this has the best twist of the three. And it has the most satisfying ending of the three. And the through story in this movie makes the most sense for what Jigsaw is attempting to do, allegedly. But again, it's got a lot of, this person did nothing wrong, why are they in a trap, and you made the trap impossible to survive, so you're literally just murdering this person for no good reason. There's a lot of that shit in this movie. So if you're going to drink the Jigsaw Kool-Aid, you're going to find out that it's poison Kool-Aid, and you're probably not going to like the results. So don't drink the Kool-Aid. That being said, I did enjoy this movie. I'm not going to say how much in relation to the previous two films, but I enjoyed it enough that I will still rate this one as a buy. Up to this point in the Saw franchise, I think you have a solid horror franchise. It's definitely got some plot holes and inconsistencies, and for the love of fucking God, knock it off with the fucking flashbacks. Jesus Christ. God damn it. I'm not gonna fucking stop bitching on that. If the franchise doesn't improve from here, I'm not gonna sit through the rest of them. I'm not. Because while these as a trilogy are enjoyable enough to a degree, they wrap it up. This is the end. There is no room for a Saw 4. So I'm not interested in seeing Saw 4. I'll watch it, but I'm like, I know it's going to piss me off. I already know that, especially if it has fucking 35 minutes of flashbacks and a fucking 90-minute movie, goddammit. Jesus fucking Christ. I'm not going to stop bitching about that. But this one still works for me. It's still, this was why people wanted to see the Saw films continue, because they were like, oh shit, this is some good stuff, I guess. So this one is definitely a buy, but I don't know where we go from here. Because they ended it. This is like the end, game over. So how are we going to play another game when the game is finished? Are we going into the playoffs? Are we going into overtime? What the fuck's happening? I don't know. Stay cool.